Aircraft carriers, armed with wings and some of the world's most powerful engines, are about to take to the sky. They might become a new breed of enormous bombers or the world's largest cargo ships. At the very least, it's a familiar image that Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. admires. This is not the first effort at such a hybrid vehicle. Still, it is the closest to success ever in developing a big vessel capable of exploiting both water and air and introducing the US military to the best of both worlds. And it's all thanks to a plethora of game-changing 21st century innovations. Welcome back to another exciting video. Today's video is about US billions-dollar flying aircraft carrier. World is shocked. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. As early as the 1920s, the United States military set out to develop flying aircraft carriers, and in two cases, they were successful. The USS Macon and USS Akron were rigid airships built at the time to serve as airships. 5 planes were launched into the battlefield and recovered using a hook mechanism that lowered them into the airstream, making them the first of their sort. These aircraft carriers had a promising future until they were lost several times. Both crashed as a result of adverse weather conditions. These events occurred over a century ago. The United States now has aircraft carriers that can cruise through severe weather storms. And with a fresh interest in flying. Because of China's race to catch up to America's aircraft carrier dominance, the US Navy now has a host of technology, mainly nuclear power plants, that its flying aircraft carrier programs may use to bring its airborne ambitions to life. The USS Gerald Ford is powered by 2 Bechtel A-1B nuclear reactors. These nuclear reactors produce at least 484 megawatts of electricity, making the US Navy's latest and most modern carrier. That is enough energy to power 363,000 homes. Enough energy to keep the 100,000-ton USS Ford running for another 25 years. And enough ability to launch an aircraft carrier into the sky. This is one of the most recent designs in many attempts to fly aircraft carriers since the ill-fated airships. Between the airship-powered pages, there have been other intriguing programs, all aimed at building the much-desired flying aircraft carrier. The US Navy has approved at least 4 separate flying aircraft carrier programs. Each one is as intriguing as the last. Here are the links to those programs. Airborne Aircraft Carrier Boeing 747. The United States Air Force experimented with transforming one of its large planes into a flying aircraft carrier in the 1970s. There are a lot of parasite fighters that could be used. They even recovered in midair as midair contenders for this role, where the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy and the Boeing 747 would take the lead when they correctly pointed out in their proposal that the 747 offered superior range and endurance when flying with an impressive 883,000 pounds full payload. As a result, the 747 could transport up to 10 microfighters at once. Boeing would design and build the microfighters to be small enough to fit inside the 747, as well as an apparatus that would allow the giant plane to transport the soldiers a great distance, drop them where they were needed to battle, recover them, and refuel them if necessary. Lockheed CL-1201, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, decided to go for a flying aircraft carrier the size of a typical aircraft carrier, keeping with their nature of pushing the limits. This aircraft or aircraft carrier would be 5,265 tons in weight and as tall as a 14-story structure. The design had a 1,120-foot wingspan and a 560-foot fuselage to allow such a gigantic aircraft to fly. End to end, that's the length of 2.5 Boeing 747s. The Lockheed CL-1201, on the other hand, could be driven by only 4 massive turbofan engines powered by standard jet fuel to an altitude of less than 16,000 feet. At this moment, nuclear energy from an onboard reactor takes over and powers the airplane for 41 days without stopping for refueling or landing. In actuality, the aircraft could maintain a cruising speed of Mach 0.8 and cruise at roughly 30,000 feet altitude during this time. This considerable aircraft would have an 845-person crew, the ability to deploy 22 multi-role fighters, and a hangar bay for repairs. However, it would cost billions of dollars and countless labor hours to create and maintain. This must have led to the aircraft staying within the proposal stage. However, its concept remains a historical outlier that continues to pique the world's interest. The Peacemaker B-36. Another aircraft proposed to be adapted to carry microfighters to launch was the B-36 Peacemaker strategic bomber. The McDonnell F-85 Goblin would be its microfighter, accommodating up to 4. Because of its large size and weight, the B-36 was the best choice in the 1950s. Its 230-foot wings would dwarf those of the B-52 Stratofortress, establishing the B-36 as one of the largest aircraft ever to fly. When fully equipped with gasoline and up to 86,000 pounds of armaments, it weighs an astounding 410,000 pounds. Despite all of these bragging rights, the B-36 would never fly an operational mission because, while it was planned to provide the U.S. with the capability of efficiently bombing Berlin, World War II would have finished by the time it was completed. However, its vast size and range spurred the Air Force to explore using it as a flying aircraft carrier, but that, too, would not come to fruition since the introduction of Midair significantly improved the operational range of all types of aircraft. And as a result, it diminished the significance of the B-36 Peacemaker's range. C-130 Hercules Lockheed. Aside from the experiments of the 1900s, the United States has recently begun to consider a new flying carrier program since 2015. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, in the United States, has been looking into utilizing a modified Lockheed C-130 Hercules cargo plane to deploy and sustain Dynetics X-61 Gremlins uncrewed aerial vehicles as microfighters. When their missions are completed, these microfighters are recovered utilizing a patented air recovery mechanism that includes a drogue-like receptacle and docking process. Dubway Proving Grounds is currently conducting testing, with International Air Response providing the contracted C-130A in January 2022. DARPA successfully launched an X-61 Gremlin UAV from the bay of the C-130 during one of these tests. Suppose the tests are successful and the aircraft carrier is officially launched. In that case, the U.S. will be able to deploy drones from motherships while outside enemy air defenses, allowing the drones to engage targets before returning to the airspace around the mothership to be recaptured and carried home for service or repairs. However, despite a test demonstrating that the drone could indeed be launched by the C-130, the drone itself would be destroyed after an hour and a half of flight due to a parachute failure. Each program comes with its own set of issues that severely limit the program's success. As is customary, several issues have arisen concerning the current notion of flying aircraft carriers. Here are those issues. Almost a century after the first attempts, the U.S. Navy still deals with issues that could keep a flying aircraft carrier from seeing the light of day. These issues include that the USS cost $13 billion to build, and adding aviation capabilities to such a warship would raise that figure even higher than the carrier could. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.